I'm joined today by Michael Ordinaka from Illinois to talk about his recent project building a concrete printer, or a clay printer actually, from scratch, called the Clay Printer 3D. Michael, how are you?
All right, Jared, nice to meet you. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be on their show and talk about my journey in this, house giant 3D printer world. Um, I'm still pretty young. I'm a teacher, actually. I just finished graduate school in 2018, but I actually do. I don't really want to be. I studied educational leadership. That's what my master's degree is in, and I don't really want to do that. I noticed that I'm more of a technical, hands-on kind of person. I've always been. I just want to point that out because I know that a lot of people like me, my parents are from Nigeria, and so there are a lot of second-generation immigrants like me who are very, creative, but they're, the cultural expectation is to, get a higher education degree, and sometimes we're not really passionate about that, and so, moving on, I've always been an artist, hands-on kind of person, and so this is actually my third revision of this machine. I'm going to see if I can find a picture.
You should be able to screen share, I think.
Okay, let's see if I can.
Yeah, that was going to be my first question is, what's your background and how did you get started with this? It's pretty ambitious to build your own system from scratch. Some people want to buy one. They're hundreds of thousands of dollars, so it's really cost prohibitive. But I saw you're hoping to sell your system for like $40,000, so you must be building it for a little less than that, hopefully, which is incredible.
Definitely. The way I think of it is it's very simple. A 3D printer can be small, as a lot of people are used to, 3D printing plastic, toys, things for their cars, things for around the house. But what a lot of people don't realize is a 3D printer can actually be scaled up pretty precisely using the same technology that is powering these
Stepper motors.
These small printers, and that can allow us to do some pretty amazing things. I realized this when I was in college. Again, I was suffering from the dilemma of I was studying special education. I'm a high school teacher right now, but I do this on on the side. But let me see if I can. There we go. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just looking through my Google Photos to see if I can find that machine.
Sure. So when you first got started, how did you design your extruder head? Did you find some plans or some reference you were able to use?
My background is actually in five-axis CNC machining.
Okay, cool.
I wanted to build my own five-axis CNC machine, and I was on the CNC group on Reddit, and everyone said, "There we go, I found it. I found it." Everyone said it could be done, it has to be done in a factory, things like that. Let me see if I can screenshot this, or, screen share this. A lot of people said it couldn't be done, but I ended up kind of, let's see, share, from tab, Google Photos. Okay, so this is a 5-axis CNC machine I built in my room when I was actually still in undergrad, when I was studying special education. I was very proud of this because, a 5-axis CNC machine is a milling machine.
Yeah.
The machine was very precise, but I ended up buying a different property where I decided to scale up and, focus on 3D printing because I realized that, 5-axis CNC machining is very, it's nice, it's very precise, but a 3D printer can make the same, quality as a 5-axis CNC machine if you use a nozzle with a small enough diameter. So Let me stop sharing. Okay. So if you use a nozzle with a small enough diameter, you can actually achieve some very precise detail with when it comes to 3D printing, and you can make basically the same quality as a 5-axis CNC machine. But here's the part where it gets interesting. So a lot of people are asking, like, how are you able to afford a giant 3D printer? How are you able to afford the materials needed to do that? An artist should not be constrained by money. If you had a giant 3D printer that was plastic, you would need a lot of money just to be able to play around with that printer, just to make 3D models. And so that should not be the reality. It should be cheap. It should be affordable. I mean, think about it. Wasp. I'm sure you've heard of Wasp, right? The 3D printing company.
Yeah, of course.
Their 3D printing houses out of clay, out of earth. Earth is one of the most abundant resources we have. So there's no way it should be expensive.
Well, there's one big issue is the rotor stators. Those cost about $1,000 each brand new, and you can replace the part that wears away for about $600. And they probably use maybe 8 to 12 of those to complete a structure the size of the Tekla house by Wasp. So that's
Definitely
at least $6,000 there. So it's not say expensive in terms of construction for a house relative to standard construction costs in America, but it's still it takes a lot of money.
Definitely. This particular machine, I was able to build it for about I don't really want to name the cost, but
you're trying to sell it for $40,000. I think that shares enough information about it.
Yeah.
So, are you using a mixer pump system?
Definitely. I actually built my pump system manually. Everything is built manually. I'm about to give you a tour of the machine right now. I'm just trying to figure this out on my phone.
Yeah, cool. So, does your mixer pump system include rotor stators?
Stators, as in a stepper motor?
No, the rotor stator is the piece that makes sure the material is homogeneous. It's a metal sleeve with rubber on the inside with an auger that rotates.
Definitely. We have one of those. I have one of those in progress. However, what I'm using right now, just for demonstrations, is actually an extruder pump.
So how is the material mixed?
The material right now is mixed manually, but I am building that pump. I'll show you that very soon.
Yeah, that's a great way to get started manually. You don't have to deal with the rotor stators. It's very cost effective, and you can troubleshoot everything. Working with it by hand gives you much more, obviously, hands-on experience rather than the mixer pump.
Just some information to restore everything. All right, so let me go outside, give you a quick tour of the machine, show you what's going on, show you how big the machine is, and I'll be back. Well, here's the machine here. This is the ClayStation 3D.
Nice.
I can turn this around.
Nice.
All right, well, here's the machine. This is a giant clay 3D printer, as you mentioned earlier, and it's able to print very high quality models due to the tiny nozzle that we have here. So this machine, kind of nervous right now. This is my first time showing anyone the machine. It's actually still in the cosmetic phase, but this machine, let me see if I can show you the whole view here. So here's the machine. This is the ClayStation.
And you got a generator.
Yes. Okay, let me get that out of the view. ClayStation 3D.
Oh, the generator is important too.
Oh yeah, very important.
It's all important.
Here's the PlayStation 3D giant clay 3D printer. So this is actually a very special setup here. The blue that you can see there is the Z-axis.
Mm-hmm.
That table goes from where it is right now all the way down to the floor. So that's your Z-axis height. That's about 4 feet that you can print. That yellow there is the X-axis. That's about 10 feet. 10 feet X-axis. And then that The yellow one here is our y-axis,
Mhm.
and that's about, I'm gonna say 8 feet. And so this is the ClayStation 3D. I wanted to make it a color that when people look at it, they just want to create something. They just want to make something. And so I'm going to go on a campaign. I'm going to build a few for some nonprofit organizations. I'm going to take orders on the website. The website is going to be live in about, I'm going to say a week. This is the ClayStation 3D.
Very nice. So, what have you printed with it so far?
What have I printed with it so far? I printed just a demonstration piece.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show you an updated video of the prints. But for now, I've just been focusing on the cosmetics. As you can see, we have our stepper motors here. Here's our NEMA 34 stepper motors. 2 of those. So this is the x-axis stepper motor. This is slaved to the other stepper motor there. These 2 stepper motors move in synchronicity together. These 4 blue. Okay, so let me move over here.
It's incredible you put this together yourself. I mean, there's people with engineering degrees who would like to do this and don't feel capable.
Definitely. I mean, it just clicked. I mean, I can't even explain. It just comes together so easily for me to do this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 50-to-1 reducer. That's what makes these so strong. That's what makes these able to lift this table and support whatever is printed. Concrete, clay, doesn't matter. Basically, the bed will break before anything happens to these. That's how strong these are. These are 50-to-1, and I have 4 of them slaved together. So all these 4 Z-axis motors move down together. They all move one step at a time together, and that allows us to keep our prints very very neat. This machine, the special thing about this machine is every axis is adjustable. So these are all adjustable. There's no way your print can be out of sync, out of square or anything, because every axis is perfectly adjustable. That's a lesson that I learned from my first machine that I built, that 5-axis CNC machine that I showed you earlier. Everything has to be adjustable. That's how you get precision. And so the wiring is not really pretty right now, but I'm an expert at it. Basically, it works perfectly. It's just not pretty. So let's go in here. This is the wire. This is basically the control room.
Yeah.
We have our motor drivers here. A couple other 3D printers. This is a nylon 3D printer. That's why I bought it, to print nylon. This one is a regular 3D printer. But this is our control room. This is all of our drivers.
Yeah, that's really cool setup. So is it just you right now?
It's just me. Just me doing everything. All the wiring, all the building, all the painting. But I can get this done with employees, I can get it done in about 2 to 3 weeks. But if it's just me, it's going to be 2 to 3 months, to be honest with you, because everything has to be perfect. I can't sell a $40,000 machine that doesn't perform perfectly. This machine is going to produce top level. The reason that I actually built this machine, Jared, is not to print houses. It was originally to print car parts. I've always loved like Lamborghinis, Porsches, so I was going to print my own bumpers.
That would go so viral.
Hoods and everything, and make copies of fiberglass, copies of them. This machine will enable you to do that perfectly. I'm not advising anyone to copyright infringe. That's not what I'm doing. But if you wanted to like enter the supercar industry, this machine will easily print the parts that you need in real size. So like I said, the wiring is not pretty, but I'm basically an expert. I know how to wire all the motors. I know how to get the right gear reduction that you need for the correct loads, and I know how to make all the axes adjustable. So you don't even have to buy the ClayStation 3D. If you have a project that you're working on, I can help you achieve what you want to achieve.
Cool. So what do you need most right now to get to the next level?
I'm sorry, one more time, Jared?
What do you need the most right now to get to the next level?
What do I need the most right now is time. I have everything I need. I have, like I said, the reason that this was so affordable to me, simple to me, was because I understand how axes work. I understand how to fabricate parts. I mean, these parts, you can get these parts. It's not about the money. To someone to a real engineer who knows how linear systems work. It's not we can do this with junk. But to the layman, that's why it seems complicated. That's why it seems expensive. To someone who understands this, to us it's cheap. We can do it affordably. My biggest hurdle right now is time. I'm working 24/7 on this. I'm actually about to work on this full time. Like I said, I'm a full-time teacher at the moment. But this is so demanding. The responses that I'm getting from this, the interest that I'm getting from this is so profound that I'm going into this full time. I'm going to focus on this full time. But yeah, like I said, I'm still in the cosmetic phase. Here's my pump. Okay, so the pump right now is not assembled, but basically here's the. So this is basically a very long PVC pipe. Inside of it, I have clay, very soft clay, and basically, let me show you how the pump works. There was just some water in there to keep the clay from drying out. If the clay dries out, you have to redo the whole thing. The clay cannot dry out. But let me show you how simple it is to load the pump.
Yeah.
So basically, here's my clay container here. Inside of here, I have clay, very soft clay. I keep this net on it just to keep things from falling inside. And so you load clay into the tube, which I've already done. I'm gonna paint this tube green. That's gonna be the company color: red, blue, yellow, and green for the pump, for the extruder. So here's our extruder here. Again, to someone, to the layman, this might be expensive. Like, how are you able to own a 50-to-1 NEMA 34 extruder? How are you able to do that? To someone who understands how this works, it's easy. It's simple to understand. Let me see if I can position this. Okay, so right now I'm going to load the extruder. So here's our cap to keep the clay from, seeping out. So basically, I'm going to pull this off. See if I can. Okay. All right, so here's our clay. We got a little bit coming out. That's not really what we want right now, so I'll push a little bit of that back in there. All right, and then here's the second part of the extruder. First of all, I'm gonna load the tube full of clay onto the extruder itself. So very simple, again, adjustable. All right, so like I said, adjustable. Everything is adjustable. Nothing can be out of Right here, there we go. Nothing can be out of whack, out of line, you know. So that's how you load it. You tighten it when you're ready, and then here's the plunger. Very simple. I'm just gonna load the plunger into the tube. Okay. How do we do that? Well, when you tighten the tube onto the extruder body, when you tighten this, it's not going to be able to move. That's what allows us to push. That's what allows this to push. This is another linear system that I made. I can basically I can make these with my eyes closed. Okay. And then here's this is a 50-to-1 NEMA 34 actuator, okay? So basically, like in your car, that's the engine, that's the transmission, but this is 50-to-1, which allows us to push like very heavy loads. Mm-hmm. This allows us to push, like the clay doesn't even have to be, very soft. It can actually be quite firm, but this very strong reducer allows us to push, firm clay out of it. And then here's the last part of the extruder. Still have to paint it, but this goes here. So this is front. This is our tube. This is our tube for the second extruder on the actual 3D printer. So we're gonna put this in here. Just pretend that's tightened for now. And then here's our tube. I made it long enough to span the entire distance of the y-axis of the machine, basically. So this goes in this little hole right here. Obviously, this could be 3D printed better. This could be made better, but this is just a demonstration. That goes in there. The clay goes from here to the second extruder and comes out of here. Okay, so from that tube, from that long tube, it goes all the way, goes through here and comes out of here. This tiny nozzle, and that allows you to get very fine detail with a very abundant material. You could actually dig your own clay in your backyard, sift it, refine it, and print with it. I mean, that's how simple it is to make something like, car parts, aerospace parts, molds. Very simple, affordable way to do it.
You'd make car parts out of clay?
Definitely, because here's the thing. To make it very precise, you first have to let the machine work on it, but you can't forget the human touch. The human touch is what makes it, what makes it come alive. Okay? This is the roughing process. The machine does the roughing. The machine, I don't consider the machine the final solution to the work of art. Some people do. Some people like to leave their printed houses bare. But I feel like there should be a finishing process that should be done by hand. That's just how I do it as an artist. Let me go ahead and show you what I'm going to be working on in November when you come here. As we discussed previously, I'm going to be printing the house. That continuous pump that you mentioned earlier will be done. I'll show you, the pump in progress. But I really want to emphasize these colors. This is the ClayStation. This is the station for creating things out of clay. You can use you can use plastic. You can put a plastic extruder on there. You can use concrete, which I will. And the idea for this machine is to print modular concrete panels that could be assembled on site. Okay, so you would print the panels on here, and then tow them over to the work site and assemble
Sure.
them. Okay. Okay. I might as well mention this. This is the Z Printer 650. This is a powder bed, full color 3D printer. I'm gonna be using that for the interior of the cars that I design. Are you familiar
Cool.
with this printer, Jerry?
No, I don't look at any printers that aren't doing houses.
Okay.
I stay in a very concentrated niche.
Exactly. I like it. All right. Here's our supply of. To anyone else, this might be a pile of wood. To me, this is the body. This is the frame of a giant 3D printer.
I love the way you think, man.
I'm sorry?
I love the way you think in terms of the systems. You were talking about how money shouldn't be the issue for an artist, and I was a little confused by what you were saying. Like, at first I thought maybe you just had some crazy grant funding, or I don't know, somehow you were just getting tons of money, but it's actually without the money at all, you're able to make it work. You don't see that as a barrier.
It's just if you have to utilize the mechanics the correct way. I can do this with wood. I can print a very high detail 3D printer all out of wood, just by making it adjustable and making the nozzle a fine diameter. You can print very fine. It's not about the money, as you said. So when you come here in November, you're going to see the giant house 3D printer. This is the the ClayStation 3D. This is the little brother. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, I guess the big brother, since this one came first. But this is our giant house 3D printer. We're going to be 3D printing a demonstration building here. This is a pretty large property. This is about half an acre that I'm using to demonstrate things for clients. I'm eventually going to 3D print a house, the far side of this property, and sell it. I'm still thinking about that. I would love some discourse on that with anyone who's willing. You can email me at fadedgalaxyco@gmail.com, FADEDGALAXYCO@gmail.com, and my name is Michael Ordinaka. You can also reach me at 618-540-8354. I prefer texting, but you can call me during weekdays.
Yeah, and if somebody wants to work for you or work with you, is that something you just mentioned employees before?
Definitely. I would love to form a team of basically start house 3D printing future. The field is just waiting for innovators like me and you, who can contribute our ideas to the field. So
I'm more of a documenter than an innovator.
I can contribute. One more time.
I'm more of a documenter than an innovator. I'm not actually working on the tech myself. I'm just filming it. I'm a journalist,
Okay,
as opposed to an engineer.
but you are spreading the word. So, as I mentioned, these are the colors. We have red, yellow, blue. This is going to be the same color for the giant house 3D printer. I don't know how my neighbor is going to feel about that, but we'll see what happens. It's all
Cool, man.
It's all in the name of innovation. All right, so again, this is the ClayStation 3D. This bed is going to be painted white. White is the color of, it has to be white. Before you draw on a piece of paper, the paper is white. So before you print on the ClayStation 3D, the bed has to be white. The bed has to be blank to give you enough space to express your ideas, your wildest ideas, okay? It'll look great on your property. Everyone will love it. Everyone will ask you what it is. Everyone will want to use it. You can use this machine to take custom orders. It's just a nice machine. It's a very, I haven't seen any other machines on the market this size, for clay, for concrete, of course, but for clay, specifically dedicated to clay. As I said, this machine can handle concrete, can handle even plastic. But right now we're focusing on clay because it's abundant. It's easy to load. It's easy to work with. It's very forgiving. So we're working with clay. We want to work with something that people have always worked with for centuries. And with that final human touch, you can actually make something look very good.
Absolutely.
Jerry, what about you? What about your? How long have you been doing this? I did receive an email from you about a year ago, asking about the printer. Do you remember that?
I don't. There's 322 companies I'm trying to follow, so it's hard to remember the ins and outs of each one. But I guess I had saw maybe you posted something somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So you said you mentioned you have some stuff on the computer inside to show me? More screen share stuff?
Let me go ahead and switch back to the computer. I just want to show people how easy it is. A lot of people wonder how are those houses designed? How the 3D printed houses look with the hollow cores and all that. A lot of people want to know how that's designed. Well, I have an easy technique to make your own house, to make your own house using your own floor plan. You can get a floor plan from Google Images. You can draw up your own floor plan. It's up to you, but this is a very easy, fast technique to make your own 3D model for a 3D printed house based on a floor plan that works for you. Okay? So let's go back to the house. All right, Jared, I'm back.
All right.
And I'm just going to show you a quick way to make your own 3D model for your 3D printed building house. So let's go ahead and go to Photoshop here. And I'm just going to grab the brush tool, increase the pixels a little bit. Okay.
What program are you in now?
This is Photoshop. Can
Cool.
you see that?
Yeah.
Can you see this? All right. So this is the brush tool, and all right. So let me just draw a quick little floor plan. Okay. So we got the can't talk today. Got the living room here. And let's say this is a bedroom. Okay, we got a 2-bedroom house. Okay, so this is a 2-bedroom. Then we got the dining room in here. And then maybe this is the bathroom. Okay, it's the bathroom. So just B for bathroom.
Sure.
And then bring this down. So bedroom 1, and then bedroom 2, and then we have the living room, and then the dining room. Okay. And so this is what you typically see with those 3D printed clay or concrete buildings,
Sure.
even clay buildings.
Interior and exterior wall.
Exactly. Oh, I forgot my door here. Okay, so let me get my door. Okay. You could go to Google Images and find one of these. I mean, just put your dimensions in. Let's say, like, you want an 800 square feet house. all you need is a floor plan. Just import the image into Photoshop, and you can start, tracing around it. But I'm just going to do this by hand to show how easy it is to do your own custom, because I know not everyone wants to follow, what someone else made. So window, go back to Photoshop here. And so this is what you typically see with those 3D printed houses. You have these walls, and they have these like groovy infill. Not even infill, because this isn't done by the slicer. This is manually done. A lot of people don't understand. This is manually. This has to be manually done. It has to be manually designed like this.
Not always. Some companies have proprietary slicers.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why that keeps happening.
No worries.
All right.
With the software, it should be downloading the video and audio directly to your computer to be uploaded afterwards, so it will should be much better quality than it appears right now.
Control S, the magic word. All right, so basically, you really need the pen tool for this to work. So after you draw your floor plan, or if you have a floor plan that you want to trace, go ahead and trace it with the pen tool. And then basically, just to give you a quick demonstration, you're going to use the pen tool, trace around all the borders of that floor plan. Yeah,
you could just make it a simple box for it'll make sense, I think. So
awesome.
I really appreciate you coming around to talk about your project. There's no reason to be it's early stages, so what you've done is incredible, and
Thank you.
Hopefully people see this and they're able to. You get customers and you get people that want to work with you. I think you will, and you're inspiring, man. Your ability to see problems as you don't see the problems, you see the solutions.
Yes. Thank you very much, Jared. I'm excited to, show you in November when you come here the house being printed.
All right, man. I'm looking forward to it.